think I even got the story read.
Oh, that's okay. That might be a bit.
I mean,
Mystery, huh? I don't think it's a mystery.
well, it's, I don't remember. We got busy with voters. Yeah. We are. Had 306 through yesterday,
Good.
averaging about 50 to 60 a day.
Really?
And I expect that number to pick up after the Monday holiday next week. That's usually the
I don't know why.
time when we start seeing over 100 a day.
You know, it makes good sense.
Yeah, and they're paying their taxes. That is another thing, so.
You golf
Yep,
occasionally,
second
Troy?
half.
You golf occasionally? You need more of an incentive. You need to buy $1,000 set of clubs. You're important ball.
And I get a text right at halftime that he says, you're going to leave me, but I got to go.
Oh, yes.
So I'm on the air and I'm going, well, I said, folks, we might have a delay here. I'm going to probably have to go out and run the camera. And I only had a sweatshirt with me. And you're up on top of the rest of us. And some guy named Troy B during the first half texted me and said, can you have your camera guy get a little tighter on the
You
action?
get the nice fat drivers.
Which was right. He was too far out. And then this Troy guy says, JT, if you need a camera guy, I can be there.
There you are.
Oh, you're multi-talented.
Didn't bring any sweet loads, but I got there. But I got there.
Oh, good. It is 9 o'clock.
I'm not going to get into it today, but that's something that should have been seen before.
It's just a pleasant.
And along with that fire thing too, should have been seen by the,
We're at 9 o'clock.
with the fire suppression system.
Well, they had it, the first person they had that in. It was just the fire marshals.
It's 9 a.m. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cottington County weekly Board of County Commissioners meeting, and it is October 2nd already. October. If you know on your agenda, it does say September 25th, but that is actually October 2nd. We'll open the meeting with a pledge of allegiance, and Doug, would you lead us this morning? Yeah. Again, all right.
Here we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Housekeeping, if you have a cell phone, which I do, either turn it off or put it on silent, and if you do get a call during the meeting that you need to take, please step out in the rotunda and take it so you don't disrupt the meeting. Also, this meeting is being streamed live, so if you wish to address the board, you will be streamed live, just a heads up. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to address the board in reference to any issues or anything that they may have? We would do it during the open, and we'll allow time for you to do that. Seeing none, are there any items on the agenda that would appear to be a conflict of interest for any of the board members? All the heads are saying no.
I'll make a
That being
motion
said,
to approve the agenda.
I have a motion by Hanton to approve the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. How about the minutes
to
of the
approve as
September
emailed.
26th meeting? Have a motion by,
I did. Motion
Second.
to approve as email.
motion by Hatton, second by Van Duzen to approve the minutes. Is there any additions or corrections? Any comments, anything? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Let's go on then to monthly reports. Jody, we get you in and out of here this morning. Good morning, Jody.
There's lots of people coming in the office today.
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah, I know, but September 18th
Oh.
minutes,
Oh,
so that can be changed in the minutes?
to the
Chair?
25th.
Or to the 25th,
It would have been the 25th.
Yeah.
just a date
So
change.
the date of the meeting will be changed to October 2nd, date of the minutes to approve September 25th.
So these are just typographical errors in the
Yeah.
agenda we're talking about, yeah.
All right. Well, yesterday began our new 4-H year as we're just wrapping up a last year with record books and award applications coming into the office, which they are right now. We have some already coming in. And then we'll be judging, the 4-H leaders will judge those award applications in the mid-October. So those are coming in now, and we're just excited because we do have some new members coming in already to fill out their applications to join 4-H. This Thursday is our Optimus installation, and so then I'll become the past president, and I'll be done with my presidency of the Optimus Club this year, but it's been a
Got
great...
the lights up?
Lights are on in the red light district, we call it, right across from County Fair. And so they're doing some work in the city park. So we really can't get into city park yet until they're working on something from the north side. There must have been some water there, so we can't really get in there yet. So, but once we can, we'll be setting up fast. I do leave this Sunday for the national meeting to Ohio. And along with that will be Brookings County 4-H Advisor and Roberts County 4-H Advisor will be going to represent South Dakota. And we're excited because even in our central region here, we have over 300 some people just from our region, and then there's 3 other regions of. It'll be a big conference. Our extension annual conference is in October 22nd to the 25th in Brookings, so there's lots of meetings this month. Our 4-H recognition event is October 28th, and I think I mentioned that last month.
Yeah.
But that will be at 2 o'clock on October 28th. Due to elections and Veterans Day, we moved to October, so for the building use. And then I'm scheduling 4-H Clover Buds and just kind of waiting back to hear back from schools and stuff. So we'll be starting those in November once all the enrollments are in and things for that. So.
Good. Any questions for Jody? Thank you, Jody.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Have a
Jody.
good week.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
Jody.
trip.
Thanks.
Weeds. Steve, good morning.
Morning,
That's
Steve.
just my cable.
Yep,
Don't mind
I'll
it.
get it a little bit with my foot out of the road.
Took my cable.
Come on.
It'll be back.
Well, good morning, gentlemen and ladies. I guess it's been a little bit since I've seen you. So, to give you a report, the spraying is nearly completed as long as the weather can kind of hold out a little bit. We do go out in conditions like this and so we had as long as the wind don't blow. I know there's been comments and so we had about light rain and so we had, if it's really light, we still will spray. We seem to have the best conditions. When it does, it's more effective. It actually kills the plants better because it absorbs into the plants better. So I want to thank those who attended my board meeting back in August. It had been prior to that before I had met here, so and stuff. I think it was well attended and well appreciated. Thank you all. Since then, had worked at the State Fair booth. Most of the questions this year, again, was on crabgrass. And so we had there. Also, there was a display of wormwood sage, and there was a straw poll being made of putting it on the state noxious list. From that straw poll out there, there was a majority that did say yes to put it on the state noxious list, which in the following week or so, they had the state weed commission meeting out in Pierre, and it was put to the vote, and it was denied to put it on the state list. It actually was a tiebreaker where the chairman had to vote, and it was decided to not put it on the state noxious list. The following day, we did go. Well, I should go and back up here a little bit. There was a Weed Board Association meeting that evening, and the planning was for the state conference in February in Huron, and it was asked upon by me to see if Cindy will be a speaker at this event. And I thank Cindy for saying she would. She is gonna propose on procedures and, of budgets and write recommendations to bring to the auditor for her, financial reports and stuff.
And control wormwood sage.
No.
Surprise.
And not to make Cindy feel so much obligated, but I have to speak also on back to the basics of spraying as a bit also at the conference this year too. So if anybody would like to come and attend, you're more than welcome. So the following day, we went on a weed tour. We had toured a new site where there's going to be like, don't give me a quote, but it's like several thousand acres of organic farmer being started. They are developing for Quaker oats and so that for milling purposes, because there is a high demand for organic foods. So we had toured that to see the first stages of their site. We also went to one of the counties where there was complaint about all the wormwood sage. Unfortunately, we saw 10 plants. And so we were kind of questioning how come they wanted to put it on the state, not just list. I have more in my county than what I've seen in his county. We also went to Dakota Lakes Research Farm and a couple other stops also in between. Also the trucks were surplus and on an auction, and also the ATV. I was satisfied for what the auction had brought. Very well pleased with the ATV, and so it was a hot item, I believe. So also coming events. District Weed meeting will be in Stratford on November 5th. I will get a travel request for that here shortly. Also, we'll be attending in November the safety conference in Sylvat, and I do know in Sylvat that I'll get that on the agenda for that travel request. And then tomorrow, Pete Ballman is having at SDSU Research Farm up at the Research Farm North here. They will have plantings for NRCS plantings. He's gotten a grant to do some studies and trials for doing new seeding plantings. That will be then followed from there. They will go over to Henry and go to the GPA where there is some seedings that have been planted in the last 3 to 5 years. So if anybody is interested, more than welcome to attend that. I will probably stop at the research farm, but I won't go to the GPA lands and so there they'll have some seedings and so where they'll have how they are controlling the noxious weeds in there, and it's amazing how after a few years the native species actually are disrupting the noxious weeds. So it is interesting. On the topic, West Nile. West Nile Conference will be next week in Aberdeen. And on that subject, last report was there was 161 cases this year in South Dakota so far, with predicted of only 123. So it actually was a little higher than their predictions were. And there was 19 blood donors in the state so far this year. So, anybody have any questions?
Questions for Steve?
It's a good rundown.
Yeah.
Thank you. Keep up the good work. Sounds like you're keeping busy.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, let's go on to letter C. Welcome, Sarah. Good morning, Sarah.
Morning, sir.
Hearing all that construction makes me cold and across the street.
Is it like that every day?
Yep. I was hoping to have the NACO prescription for August report, but we haven't received that yet, so we'll be able to update that. Nothing too different different. With the costs and the savings, we had a utilities expense cost $183.21, savings about $871.
You need her to copy of the mic.
Is that better?
Better,
All
thank
right.
you.
You gotta kind of kiss it, right? That's how the saying goes. Okay, one medical and voluntary commitment that we paid for, that's $699.50. That had a savings of $67.12.91. One of the things we want to be cognizant of is that the IVCs and voluntary commitments are going down to Yankton versus Avera McKinnon because those are our potential liabilities. So we're kind of we've seen a lot more at the Avera, which could potentially be a liability to us. And then we also had another one that was a full denial of about $25,000 that we were able to find other resources for. We had a burial. The savings were from some of the benefits on that piece of it. Total in August, there was 31 people that we provided services for on that. And then I just attached with you the NACO letter for the Health Steering Committee. I received that from President Greg Cox and the commitment to that and the requirements. Any questions?
Could, Mr. Chairman, so
Yes.
just for my education and clarification, could you explain the Avera McKenna and can you explain that again for just general layman's talk?
So the way the involuntary commitment statute goes is that if an individual is involuntary committed to Human Service Center, the cost is about $700, and that can cover 24 to 30 days. But if we send them to Avera, they charge that per day, and so far we've been able to deny the additional cost. But if it racks up enough, it's potential liability if it goes before to a hearing to a judge, a trial. I was going to take a look and poll to see what our total numbers are because they're pretty significant. Now, if I talked to Tom Burns about if HSC is full or the individual has a medical condition, they can go to a facility such as Avera, but you want the HSC to be the one to refer it because then in the statute it is
Right.
they have to take that rate of the $69.50.
Right. Okay.
And I forgot, I wrote on my note, Angela had a booth at the Veteran Appreciation Day, September 13th. And then with the SDACW, I call it SDACC because it's harder to say the welfare portion of it. Probably the biggest thing that they took away from that was the Navigator program. There's no funds for that. And that Navigator program is what helps people when they're picking out
Right.
their health insurance in the exchange market. So those funds are gone, and there's a shorter enrollment period for people signing up.
And that was a federally funded thing, the Navigator program.
Right, yeah.
Okay, any questions for Sarah?
Sarah, I see this letter that's dated August 30th of this year from the National Association of Counties, NACO. It's a congratulation letter on your nomination as a member of the Health Policy Steering Committee, and that you're expected to attend 2 conferences, one in Washington, D.C. and one in Las Vegas in 2019. Those have both been budgeted. I think that was something that we discussed at our last meeting, so congratulations on your nomination there.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, let's go on to number 6, an action to approve resolution 2018-24 adopting the County 5-year highway and bridge improvement plan. Rick, you want to come up? I think everybody's had a chance to review it, look over it. Any comments from you, Rick?
No, not really. It's good to go.
Good to go.
I'll make a motion to approve the,
We have a motion by Gable.
Second.
A second by Waterman. Any discussion? Any discussion?
and Rick has gone over the changes in the previous meetings. It was about 2 or 3 meetings ago. So, yeah.
Any more? Any other questions for Rick? Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All same sign. Motion carries. We will approve it.
Thanks,
All right, let's go to, let's see, can we get you, just stay here, Rick? let's see, isn't there one, was there one that you were involved with later on here? Maybe not, I guess not. Thank you. All right, let's go to number 7, action to approve a contract for E911 services. Cindy, you have that?
Yep, this is just the annual contract where the county receives the surcharge payments that are collected by the state of South Dakota. The state remits to us, and we turn 100% of that over to the city of Watertown for operating and handling 911 service.
Move to approve that.
We have a motion by Hampton,
Second.
second by Van Dusen. Any discussion?
There is no changes in that contract as far as I could tell.
No,
From our previous
there are not.
contracts.
It's just a yearly housekeeping.
Any more discussion? Any other questions? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. We approve that. Let's go on then to number 8, action to declare emergency management radio equipment surplus and transfer that equipment to the Wallace Fire Department. We have a motion
I'll
by
make the motion.
Gable, second
Second
by
that.
Waterman. Any discussion?
Just, Mr. Chairman, this was covered by Jim during his report last week, and he just described the situation. So these are analog radios going, if I remember, you might remember.
Yeah, the analog radios, the system, of course, is digital, but Wallace Fire Department does have a use for them for now until the change, so.
And I'm glad that they're able to use it.
Yeah.
So we don't have to just ditch them and we can get some more mileage out of them. That's good. So congratulations, Wallace. You're going to get some new equipment or some new used equipment, I guess, huh?
Yeah.
We need to vote.
Yes, we have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. All right, let's go on to number 9, action to approve a concrete sidewalk project. And there's a it's in your packet. There's a cost of approximately $39.79.60. There's a quote from Nygaard Concrete. Now, my question is, where's this at?
It's one of the sidewalks out here, I believe.
Yeah.
How did he
Is
describe
that where
it?
they went through with the pipe? Went through with that?
I think they went under. I don't think it's
Water line?
I don't think it's related to that. It might be in the same area, but I'm not
No,
familiar
it's
with it.
an older sidewalk. It's not a big sidewalk. It leads down to the street over here on Maple.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Was this a budgeted item?
I can't tell, I couldn't tell you that.
I'll make a
is that
motion
the-
to approve if we have sidewalks that are not in good repair and somebody would trip on them.
Motion by Hampton,
I'll second it.
second by Gable. Now discussion.
Is that the sidewalk that leads from the courthouse building down to the
Down,
street?
yeah,
Okay.
yep.
That-
And
that angled one?
I'm not sure if it's budgeted for, but there are sufficient funds in Milo's budget to pay for it.
Okay.
It kind of goes downhill a little bit, if you're familiar with that one. The only question I have is it more expensive to use the red rock? The concrete with, you know what he's talking about here, don't you?
A good point, Mr. Chairman. Red Rock is more expensive.
And I don't know why we need to have red rock. That's the only question I had, but it's pretty much immaterial.
Usually Milo is pretty good when he goes out and, gets his bids and on cost effectiveness. So I would say there's a good reason why. Maybe it's with the location or.
And Milo is not on campus today or this week. He is on vacation, so we can't ask him that question, but we have a motion and a second.
One more question
Yes.
before you call a vote. Is this something that he was hoping to get done this fall?
I believe so. According to his email, it needs to be replaced prior to winter if we can get it done.
Okay, that answered your question. Any other questions? Comments? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. We get a new red sidewalk. It's not a yellow brick road, but it's a red brick road, huh? Cement road. Let's go to number 10, action to approve the purchase of courthouse furniture, and this would be Lee. And just because it's courthouse furniture, it looks like they jacked the price up. Ridiculous.
Mr. Chairman, this is we approved a previous purchase for the same need. but the UGS, I guess they had trouble with the supplier, and it wasn't quite what they needed, so this is instead of something that we approved before. And I think the cost is actually a little lower this time. So this is it's attorney-client tables that will go into the new courtroom. They have, the interesting thing about them is they have power hookups for like laptops and things like that. So I'd make a motion to approve that.
If it was approved once before, do we have to approve it again, or?
No,
Yeah, because it's a new
different
amount.
purchase. It's a
New
different
amount,
purchase.
yeah.
So the other one never happened.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay,
problem.
all right, we have a motion
I'll
by
second
Gable,
that.
second by Hatton. Any more discussion? Or
And
any
the
discussion?
total cost is $2,371, and it is for the new courtroom, correct?
Right, yeah.
You got that? 2371, correct?
Yep.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Now we have, and Marlo's not here to represent this, action to approve the purchase of a shed for Memorial Park. Do you have any notes on that, Cindy?
Let's see. He did some comparison shopping between three companies that are offering their product in Watertown. In his opinion, the shed from 605 Sheds out of Huron, who has a local representative here in Watertown, appears to be the best built as well as the best price available. The shed will be used in Memorial Park for firewood storage near the office. They have it placed within eyesight of the office so they can sell wood more efficiently. The old shed will be converted to storage for tools and etc. There are sufficient funds available in the Memorial Park budget for this purchase.
I make a motion to approve that. Milo did mention that at his report last time about
I have
doing
a
this.
motion by Hatton, second by
I'll second it.
Gable. Any more discussion?
Total price is $3,085.
I do have a question on this one, $3,085 for storage of firewood. When you look around town, and especially out at Hy-Vee, you see they've got a chain link enclosure, and that's where they store their firewood. It's stored out there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 12 months out of the year, and I would really question spending this money for that shed for that purpose.
Okay, any more comments, any more discussion?
Is this an urgent item? I'm guessing it's probably not urgent, so.
He does not indicate that. I don't know if the quote is good for a certain amount of time. Let's see. He's asked for a time frame for the construction and delivery. The representative has indicated that 3 to 4 weeks to get it built and delivered. That's about all I have on it.
Any more discussion?
I'm sorry, who is the contractor again?
It's 605 Sheds out of Huron, and they have a local representative. Daniel Guthmiller is the local representative. I think these are the sheds that are sitting in the mall parking lot, right outside where Penny's used to be, I believe.
Is that the sole purpose for this shed? Is firewood? Or is it for
According to his
lawnmowers
email.
or-
Yep. Yeah, according to his email, it will be wood storage.
Any more discussion? All right, seeing none, I will call for a voice vote.
Gable,
Aye.
Waterman,
No.
Johnson,
Aye.
Van Duzen,
No.
and Hanton.
Aye.
That's 3 votes in favor. Motion should carry.
All right, motion carries. Action to authorize application for grant funds for Memorial Park Tree Project. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll second that.
I have a motion by Gable, second by Hatton. Any discussion?
This
You
is
should
the
probably-
new,
Go ahead.
Is this the state program that you can do?
This is what your,
The thing I emailed?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just, came from, that came from just somebody, I talked about
The
the.
urban and community
Right.
forestry grant program.
So it's kind of a benefit of sitting on some of these boards out among the glacial lakes, or the glacial lakes and prairies tourism board, and I just mentioned about the Milo's project about the trees, and one of the board members sent me that email, so.
What percentage of this is county cost? Or is this 100% grant?
That's the question I was gonna ask. John, you remember what that was? Is it 100%? Or is it?
I don't have any
match.
information on it.
It was a match, I think.
What was the amount of the grant?
I think my guess is, it sounds like he wanted to get it in by a deadline, and if there's not an urgent thing, we can wait and ask him too. I mean, it's not an urgent thing, so. I'm not seeing I'm looking at their website, I'm not seeing a deadline offhand, but I haven't had a chance to really look at it, so we could,
Is there a
We
matter
discussed
of
one.
Milo will be back next week?
I think so.
Milo will not be back till the 16th.
I don't think he'd mind answering an email between now and then.
How much is that
Yeah.
grant for? What was the?
I don't have any information
Yeah,
on
I
it.
I think he probably needs to, give us an application. I think
speak
he
with him.
probably wanted to get approval. to
Postpone the
write.
week,
Yeah, I'll make
and
a,
we'll
I'll
do
wait.
some communicating with Milo and get some
Yeah.
more
Did I make
information.
a?
You
did
made
I-
a motion,
So
and we
I'll-
got a second to approve.
I'll amend my motion to postpone for a week.
All right, we have an
Second.
amendment to the motion to postpone a week. Is there a second to that?
Second.
All right, any discussion on that? Seeing none, let's vote on the amended motion. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's go on to number 13 then. Action to amend the county's 457 plan with John Hancock. Cindy?
When, this is, the John Hancock plan is the one we went to when our local representative could no longer handle Lord Abbott. So when we went through and set up the plan, we basically set it up the way the Lord Abbott plan was set up. And we did not provide for plan-to-plan transfers. So we have a number of employees who would like to transfer their money from John Hancock to the South Dakota Retirement System supplemental plan. And in order to allow them to do that, this board has to take action to amend the 457 plan. I will also note that it will cost each employee $65 to complete this process. But the first thing that has to be done is for the board to amend the plan to allow plan-to-plan transfers, is what it's called.
I'll make that motion
Motion
to
by
amend
Hatten,
that.
second by Waterman. Any discussion?
So what happens if we don't amend?
If you don't amend it, the employees cannot transfer their
Okay,
money
all
out
right.
of John Hancock into SDRS.
So this is on, this would be, allow them if they choose, so. that
Correct,
they're-
and subject to each employee paying a $65 fee.
And it's a one-time?
One-time fee for the transfer, yes.
Any more discussion? Any more? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Number 14 on the agenda, action to supplement budgets with commissioners' contingency. Cindy, what do we have?
We have 3 budgets that have been overspent. These are the ones that we're going to have to supplement monthly from here until the end of the year. The first one is the court-appointed attorney budget, which needs $14,388.94 to bring it back into to a zero balance. Coroner budget needs $1,695.49. And the Board of Mental Illness budget, $3,853.18. These are 3 budgets that we basically have no control over. We are obligated to
I'll make a
to
motion
make these
to approve.
payments.
We have a motion by
Transfers.
Commissioner Van Duzen, a second by Commissioner Waterman. Any discussion?
And per the state of South Dakota, we are not allowed to have budgets in the red. They have to be at a zero balance or have a balance.
And be prepared to do this every month, every month, yeah.
Yeah.
because- But we only have 1 month left.
No,
Question.
2.
No.
2 months.
2 months.
Question for Cindy, do we have
3
enough?
months, actually.
We have enough in our contingency
We
budget
do right
to
now.
cover
We are
those?
spending it down, but we do have, right now, if we would run out of commissioner's contingency, we would have to have a formal budget hearing at the end of the year to take care of that. Let me see what we have left.
We're not going to run out.
We started with about 250,000, I believe.
Oh, yeah, that's what they,
253,000 is what we started with. I don't know, the screen I'm looking at is not up to date, because I know we've used some of it previously, so.
Well, at the rates of, the projection of these rates, we have enough for the next couple of months.
Yeah, we do.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Like I
Yep.
said, we're good. We'll make her, one way or another. We hate to have another hearing or another budget hearing. All right, let's go on to number 15, action.
We need to,
I don't know,
we
we
need to
need
vote.
we need to vote.
Yeah, we need to vote on
we
that
need
one,
to
sorry.
vote. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you. Number 15, action to approve change orders for courthouse remodel project. And Lee has
Yeah,
take
this,
that, and it's covering up some wires.
yeah,
exposed
so,
wires,
yeah,
and
yeah, Mr. Chairman, so this is, I'll make a motion to approve this change order.
there's a packet in your
Yeah.
explanation in your
Yeah.
packet.
It's one of those, unpleasant things when you're doing an old building. So what the issue is to do some rerouting of some cabling that comes from the Register of Deeds office, goes through the courtroom to the basement of the courthouse, to move it and then put it inside of the new wall that is going to be between where the jury suite and the judges' chambers are, and then the larger part of the courtroom. So, it's one of those things, and it's a little bit pricey, but it does involve some electrician work.
Just,
so.
just one quick question on this, Lee. Are these
yeah.
going to be big enough to accommodate more wires in the future?
I can ask. I assume so. I mean, it's going to go inside of a wall, the new wall, so there should be a lot of space in there. So, yeah.
Sometimes the space gets limited, and I was just
We can
wondering.
spread it out.
I'll ask. I'll ask them.
If we get a 2-inch pipe, can they put a 2.5-inch in there? So we got another half-inch of room for down the road.
As long as we don't
Who
need
knows how
another,
long?
as long as we don't need another change order to do it, maybe. But
That number is 2697.
no, the overall with all the tax and all of it, it's 3,048.
Okay.
So I put on the screen there so you can just see what the change orders, how they've affected the project. 3141 in the black. So that's all the change orders together. So there's been some that have been credits and some that have been added costs. But when it all is said and done, and the largest part of that was an initial credit for an item that was taken right off the project right after it was bid. So
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Any more discussion?
I had the opportunity to go down with Commissioner Gable this morning and take a look at that. He showed me specifically what we were looking at doing there, and it's absolutely necessary for this project, so. Support it.
All right, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Number 16, note Unified Judicial System Court Security Grant Funds, and there's a letter in your packet. I did receive this letter at home, and we had this same one last year, and we received some funds, and we just need a motion to.
Well, no, there's nothing. This is just information only. The UJS has $10,000 available in fiscal year 2019 to help continue the important work of upgrading the security of courthouses throughout the state. So that's $10,000 to be split among 60-some counties. It's just an information only.
Now, who makes that application?
Who's ever working on a
I'll-
project. The sheriff, I
I'll
think, has
check on
worked
that,
on
because
it.
we do have a metal detector as part of the security checkpoint, so I can
Okay.
see it's a walk to a metal detector, not a handheld one, but I'll definitely ask about that one, so maybe it'll help a
But we
little
did
bit.
receive some money through this same grant.
In the past, we have, yeah, we have,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yes, I would, but we don't need a motion to
No.
grant anybody to apply for it. Right? To authorize anybody to apply for it.
Well, after
we
Lee
will.
checks into it, we will need,
Okay, all right.
we will
Like
need
this.
motion then. This is just to note that the grant funds are available if anyone has any ideas on how to spend them.
So you were, excuse me, Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
So you were saying this $10,000 possibly would be split between all the counties in South Dakota,
Correct,
depending on how many
How
would
many
apply for
applications,
that?
correct.
Okay.
The applications need to be in.
We don't want to wait around, let's put it that way.
The applications need to be in by December 1st.
Yeah, sooner the better. All right, number 17, this is just a note observation of a federal holiday, Monday, October 8th. And
Per our previous adopted policy, we observe all federal holidays. This is just an FYI to everybody that the courthouse will be closed on Monday.
This is just for your information, no,
Yep.
we don't have to do
No
anything.
action,
no,
yep.
this
Okay.
is next Monday, the courthouse will be closed for the press. to
And I
vote.
have emailed that information to the press.
Okay, any claims for payment?
No claims today and no automatic budget supplement.
Good, that's good. Personnel changes, we got a couple of them.
The first one is Sandy Thee in the treasurer's office. She is in the clerk position. She's due an anniversary step increase to step 7, $17.96 an hour. The second one is Peggy Novi. She will be added to our pool of part-time correctional officers at step 1, $17.46 an hour.
Move to approve.
Motion
those
by Hans
changes.
approved, second by Gable. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. We have a couple of travel requests from the state's attorney's office, I see.
This is a request for the state's attorney and one of the deputy state's attorneys to attend a training in Pierre. I believe the state pays for most of this. I think the only thing the state does not pay for is about $32 in meals per person.
Move to approve those.
Motion by Hans,
Second.
second by Gable. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any comments? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. The tour business, any old business?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just if I could, last week during, I think it was during open or when we were talking about the remodel project, Commissioner Van Duzen mentioned that, talked about the kind of the punch list, the things that still need to be fixed in the clerk of court space. We talked about, we've already authorized you to sign it, the document when it's ready, but just so you're aware of what's going on there. So there's a bunch of little things in the clerk of court's office. They're using it. So Commissioner Hanton and I were there for the walkthrough like a little over a month ago, and that kicks the warranty period and the year-long warranty period into I guess, in motion because they're using the space. But there's a bunch of little things, and you can see it on the screen there. If you want, I can email this to everybody if you'd like it, but you can see the kinds of things, a lot of little things that they catch, like a carpet tile here, or some you know, the molding at the baseboard coming loose, you know, some touch-up paint work. A lot of it's very small stuff that still needs to be done. And so when that's all done, so what happens is the architect puts together a list of all the things that the contractor needs to work through, and then it's ready for signature of what's called substantial completion, and that's what we authorized you, I think about a month ago to sign when that's ready. So that's just to let everybody know what's going on with that. And if you'd like a copy of that, I can email it to you. Or, yeah. So, and there's a couple of, with the 1-year warranty period, that also allows us or the clerk of courts to say, hey, we come and fix this. So there's other things that may come up over the course of that year. So.
Okay, any other old business?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead.
We're going to be closed, the courthouse is going to be closed October 8th.
Yes.
What about the construction people we have downstairs?
I have no idea.
Let me ask them what they were planning, and then
Okay.
if we need to work out something, maybe.
Yeah, because while they're working, they do prop the doors open, which will not work on a day when the
We'd have
offices
to-
are all closed.
Right, you have to put a
We will
sign
need-
up, but I'll have to check with them. on
All
that
right.
one. That's a good question. So,
Yeah, it's a good question.
yeah.
We have not run into this situation before.
We
Yeah.
don't remodel the courthouse
we
that
don't.
often.
Yeah.
Thank goodness,
We don't.
yeah.
Typically on holidays, like will happen over a weekend, they have done, you know, when they've redone the offices, but the doors were closed, they didn't need to
That's
have
our
them open.
maintenance staff.
Right,
Yeah.
so,
Yep, not
It's a good-
outside.
I mean, it's, in a way, it's a good time for them to work if they want to. I mean,
It-
you know, so.
Is it possible to lock the
I think we need
individual
to have
offices
somebody
all
here
up?
though.
Well, the offices are
They
locked.
are.
The offices, it's the
I
front
think we need to
doors,
have
the entrance
somebody from
doors.
maintenance
So
or
just
somebody
be
here
the-
to be on the building.
Rotunda area, that would be open, or, you know?
Correct, yeah,
But I don't want to sit around.
yeah, just the fact that we can't have people in the
Well,
building.
the first thing we need to find out is,
Yeah.
does he even plan to work?
Yeah, well, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
So,
All right,
thanks.
good point, though. New business, any new business?
so I will mention about the Navigator program since I do sit on the ICAP board, and there are no funds available this year. So, and open enrollment is earlier and not as long, and the open enrollment occurs from November 1st through December 15th. If they miss that time period, then they can't enroll again till the following year unless they have a special enrollment, which is some sort of emergency within a family. The scopes change, so there are some times when they can do that, but it's under special circumstances.
Would you explain the Navigator program?
Well, the Navigator program was the program that would help folks with the marketplace. They would just go to them to get the information. They could not direct them as to what plan to take. They just provided the information. So now these folks won't have anybody to go to, although they can go to the local ICAP office here in Watertown, and they will give them information and places to go. They can go online. And the biggest thing to remember is some of those folks would just sign that sheet of paper that they would get in the mail, but it was a detriment to them because things change every year. So they want to make sure that they look everything over because sometimes it could put them in
If
a
I
different
could-
sort of.
Because as a layperson, you're much more familiar with it than I am, Commissioner Hannon, but as a layperson, it's the the Affordable Care Act is just so complicated, especially when you get online and try to figure it out.
Yes.
That's what the Navigators did to help, there was a program, I mean, as a function of how complicated it is, I think, and just health
Yes.
insurance in general, so.
Absolutely. It isn't that easy to go through that. And there's different levels, and so they can still go to the local ICAP office here, and they can give them some of the information. There is a website they can go on, which is www.healthcare.gov, to create an account and complete the application. So they need access to computers, and some of those folks are not able to do that, although they can go to the library, I would imagine. But anyway, so it's unfortunate. There is still the marketplace insurance that people need to, everyone is still required to have insurance, but there is no longer any help out there. So it is very unfortunate.
Okay, it's too bad that has to occur, but that's, I guess, we were kind of expecting it, though. I mean, it's not a big surprise, I don't
To phase out, but they can still go to the local ICAP office here and, get some information, and they can help them to a certain level, but not as extensive as the Navigator program did.
Okay. Troy, you were going to say something.
Yeah, just a reminder for folks that the pod has been activated today in Watertown and in some of our smaller communities out in the county. The pod is the point of dispensing the flu shot immunization clinic. It's going on in Watertown today from 4 until 7. That's going to be held up at the Watertown High School, and that's in Watertown. Additionally, a vaccination travel team flu clinic for school-age children is being held in Henry. It starts at 10 o'clock this morning. So if you have children ages 6 months through 18 years of age, we encourage you to take advantage of those free flu shots at the clinics today.
Just if I could add, with this, as I understand it, from an emergency management perspective, these pods are an opportunity to kind of exercise the system, so that all the people that all the agencies that need to work together get together, and they're actually working with the public to do something useful, and then working out all those processes. So it's a really useful opportunity, and it's a cool thing to see. I get to see the last one, all those agencies working
I did
together.
too.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
impressive.
got a text message this morning saying that the pod group had been activated, and that the wheels begin to turn at that point. So It is. I mean, it's a good opportunity for all the agencies to come together. School district officials, emergency management, police, EMS, Department of Health.
Very good. And
So
I did
it's
hear you
good.
on the radio yesterday morning. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing that.
You
I
bet.
believe, aren't they doing one at LATI also?
Lake Area Tech will have one as well. They are scheduling their own, but Mount Marty College, National American University are participating in the Watertown one
Today.
here today from 4 to 7. So all you need to do is bring your college ID with you. So,
All right, anything else? Any other new business? Let's go to the open then. Anything for the open today?
Well, I do have some events that there could be a quorum of commissioners at. Carrying Capers is this week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday night is the LATI, at LATI at 6 p.m. It starts the candidate forum. And Monday will be the reverse raffle for the Republican Party at 2nd Street Station, starting at 5:30. And that's all I have up till next Tuesday.
Anyone else have anything? We do have a couple of invitations, but that'll be a week or so away.
Later
I
on.
see there was one the 15th and there was one for the volunteers or something, I think.
Yeah.
That's later on.
The legislative.
Also have, and that's later on too, but I'll bring it up later. It's for, it'll be down at SDSU in reference to citing for the development of CAFOs. And I will probably be attending that one, but I'll bring you up to date when that is. And I think it's not for a couple, 2-3 weeks yet. So.
I got an invitation to that also. It's an
Okay.
Ag Summit.
Like I said before, is there any other comments? Anyone in the audience now that would like to come forward? Seeing none, any other comments from the commissioners that are in the open? Seeing none, then there has been a request to go into executive session by Terry Satterley, and this is in reference to contract matters. So it'd be let's see.
Number 4.
Number 4. I'll make a motion that we go into executive
All right,
session
I have
under
a
4.
motion
Second?
just a second.
and one personnel issue, which would be number
1.
1. All right, I have a motion by Hatton, a second by Waterman, Commissioner Waterman. Go into executive session. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are in executive session. There should not be any action after the executive session for the press. All right? Thank you.